Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of Soaring Through Chaos. Yes, we are going through some of the most challenging times in our lives as a collective, including the risk of losing friends or seeing them go through suffering, also the risk of losing jobs and, not finding meaningful work or being underemployed. Amid all this and the divisiveness that has created, amid all this, I run into people or have known people who have been able to create meaning through this challenging time, who have continued to work through it and actually have grown through it. And that's why we are talking, so we can learn from each other. And here's with me is Shubham Srivastav. Hi, Shubham, how are you?
Hello, how are you? I am very good. How are
And
you? I want to know that.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. In fact, my work has slowed down a little bit because I decided I didn't want to do leadership trainings using social media as much. Instead, I said, let me just talk to people who are continuing to do great work, and that way we can kind of learn from each other. And so that's become my that's become my full-time thing right now. Maybe for another month or two. Then when I get bored, I'll go back to creativity and leadership. So tell me, how have you been doing? We met about a couple of years ago at the youth
Yeah,
conference and also at the Learning Society of the unConference, isn't it?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so what have you been up to lately and what brought you to these kinds of things? What brought you to the unConference?
Unconference, I just came there to explore and I've been, a part of such spaces. And I've always been very curious and I've always, flowed in my life. I've never really planned or never really structured a lot of things in my life. So that's how I've, met so many beautiful people and so many beautiful spaces. So that's how I came there. And that's how wherever I am today in my life, I'm just because I'm there only because of the fact that I've just flown and because of my curiosity, I think.
So one of the things that I found interesting, Shubham, is that is this how have you always been like this since childhood, or were there times there were a shift in your presence, consciousness? Because not many people are born like this and continue like this. You know what I mean? So I want to know
Yeah.
about your journey.
Yeah. So, of course, so my core is more of like this, where I'm all choppy and I'm just out there and I'm radiating a lot of energy. But of course, I've had my lows and I've had these times when I have struggled, I have had challenges, and I have felt lost, and I didn't know, okay, what to do and how to go about it. So it's been a journey, and this journey has just been incredible. I just feel so grateful about the fact that I have such a beautiful family. I have such beautiful friends. I have so many spaces where I can just go and be the way I want to. And that's what I think is has been driving me, that okay, let's just be, and everything will just be with you. So the journey has been interesting. When I was in school, in fact, till college, I didn't know what to do in life. I've been dancing throughout my life. I've been doing a lot of theater, and I was volunteering with NGOs. So I've always been very engaged, but I never knew what I wanted to do. And I remember that I had gone to NDTV for a year, and that's when I realized that, okay, this is what I don't want to do in life. And but still, I never knew what I wanted to do in life. And after NDTV, I joined an NGO where I was, teaching dance and theater to these children who were on the streets, and children under substance. And there, one of my colleagues, he introduced me to this whole idea of dance movement therapy. And he said, there's a course in TIS and you can just go and explore. And I was like, okay. And I had never, experienced or explored what dance movement therapy is. I was like, okay, I'll just apply. And so imagine this is like 30th of May, I think he had shared with me. And 30th of May was the last date. And I had written to them, I think on the 1st of June, or yeah, somewhere like that. And then they said that, sorry, we are closed, and oh, we can't let you in and you can maybe apply next year. But I was like, I really want to do. And I had written them a long email where I really poured my heart out, sharing with them that how I really want to explore this, because somewhere I just felt that, okay, I resonated with it. I didn't know what it is, but I just felt that, okay, this is something which will just make me feel belonged. So I wrote them a long email, and I'm very grateful about the fact that, immediately within 2 days they replied back, and then they said that, you have almost a week to, arrange all the documents, and we have to write an SOP, so you have to do all of that, and then we'll call you for the interview. So then, and imagine I had graduated from my college, I think in 2012, and this was 2016, and I had no degree because I never got my degree. Like, of course, I had passed out and all of that, but I never got my degree from the college. So I had to go back to college and, gather all my documents and all of that. So I did all of that. And then finally, I submitted the SOP, and then within a week, they called me for the interview, and I went to Bombay for the interview, and I got selected. And imagine, I had no plans of going back. I was very clear in my head throughout my life that I don't want to leave Delhi, because I'm very, like, me and my parents, we are really thick together, and I was very sure that, okay, I don't want to leave my home. But suddenly, within a month, my life just took a 360-degree turn, where I had to leave everything, all my setup, which was in Delhi, and move to a new city. And a new city where I was absolutely clueless about, okay, what to do, how to go about it. But yes, and since 2016, my life is really, a lot of things have shifted within me. And I just feel so grateful about the fact that I've always been so accepted, I've always been so acceptable about things that, okay, this is coming your way, let's just take this. This is coming your way, let's just take this. And that's how I'm here with you today.
Wow. In fact, when we met, that was about 2017, I think. I had no clue that you were a dance movement therapist. Well, I could feel the rhythm with which you walked, and you were always in a sari. So I could feel the movement through the whole. There were like 1,000 people in Parlakamandi, which is southern part of Orissa, on the border of Andhra Pradesh, and we were people literally from around India. Quite a few Odias, quite a few people who speak Telugu, as well as and tribals, and it was just an amazing gathering. But what is interesting was sometimes you can identify people by the way they walk and the way they show up. Like, I never asked you that question, but I assumed that she must be a dancer. So it's great to see. Then I saw your videos online where you were actually coaching people. I was like, that's what she does. It makes so much sense. So Shubham,
Yeah.
tell us about how has life changed for you once you got into the therapeutic aspects of dance? In what ways did it
Hmm.
change you? In what ways has it changed the people you work with?
Yeah. So, you know, um, one thing which has stayed with me is that when I had started this journey with dance movement therapy in 2016, um, I never, I never knew that, self-care or self-love exists. And I started loving myself. I started taking care of myself. And that is something which, which has just changed my life, because I realized that it's so important to take care of yourself. And if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't take care of others. And so that is one very major thing. Another thing which happened with me was that how, I'm a Kathak dancer, and throughout my life, I've I've been in this structure of, because if in Kathak I have to move my hands like this or like this, it's very angle specific, and there's a lot of structure to it. But when I started moving, I remember the first instruction I was given was that you can do whatever you want to. And that was so liberating for me. And when I was doing Kathak, I was doing a lot of performances, and after every performance, people used to really come and praise me and say a lot of beautiful things about me. But somewhere deep down inside, I thought that, okay, there's something missing. There's something missing. And I was very critical about myself. So I thought, okay, it's just that because I'm very critical about myself and I need to really work on that. And that's why I'm feeling this way. But when I started moving, that's when I realized that I actually never could relate to that dance form just because of the fact that it was so structured. And as a child, my parents, throughout my life, I've never been in a structure. My parents have always been like, do what you want to do. We are there to back you up. You do whatever you want to do. And you just explore and just be safe and take care of yourself. And that's when I started doing movement, I was like, oh my goodness, this feels me. And it was just so easy to just embody it. So these are two exactly just do whatever you want to. Because now here, no one's telling me that, okay, you just have to do this, or you have to do this, or you have to do this. You can just go wherever you want to. You can just go wild.
Wow.
And that really, that made me feel so happy. I can't tell you. And I was like, oh my goodness, I feel belonged here. So these are two very major things which have happened the moment I entered this therapeutic space of movement and art and music and sound and writing and everything, because I can really be myself. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to, show it to the world that, okay, this is who I am and whatever. I just have to be. And being is the most comfortable space for me.
Yeah, and we are talking about that on one of the most interesting and auspicious times from the Indian calendar, the day of Ganesha, where Ganesha with the body of a human and the head of an elephant. Imagine if there was a real Ganesha. Or if I remember when we were in school, anybody with a very long nose used to be given names like Ganesha. And to be able to face the world as you are, and to be revered as the deity or the god of wisdom and knowledge. Any new activity, we start with saluting this deity, which has an elephant head, which means using your mind, using your intelligence, along with a human body. So in the human body, maximizing understanding or like planning or thinking through. I'm not saying I'm also the spontaneous kind of a person. So I will do some things and then I will think through what do I really want to do long term. Then I do more things, then I again plan. I do this micro planning. But again, it's so amazing that you had that freedom to be able to be yourself. And I'm so
Yeah.
grateful that you have parents who are allowing you to do that so that inhibition is just not there.
Yeah, like I feel so grateful for my parents. I can't even tell you. And when I was a child, or even when I was in college, I never realized that. Everyone around me, all my friends used to be that, you're so blessed to have such parents. And I used to always think that, okay, every parent is like that, like this. And it's not only my parents. But now, like since the past 4 5 years, I've also like this is the gratitude has increased, the awareness has increased that okay, there's something special about my parents, and every parent is not like this. Like because of my parents, I'm here today, and I'm I'm doing whatever I wanted to. I still remember my parents had told me in the beginning that whatever you will do it for yourself. If you'll do good, you will you will feel happy and you'll be in a nice space. But if you'll do bad, you will suffer, and you will carry that suffering and challenge in your life. So whatever it is, you have to create your space for your own self. You don't have to worry about us. And of course, we are always there to back you up कि तुम अच्छा करोगी तो तुम अपने लिए करोगी, तुम बुरा करोगी तो तुम अपने लिए करोगी. And that is something which has really been there with me, and I've always taken forward in my life that okay, I have to do for my own self, and my parents are there to back me up. And that somewhere of course has really helped me, because I know that yes, they're there. Even if they don't know what am I getting into, what is it that I'm exploring, but still I know that yes, they're there. So that really, means a lot. I can't tell you, Shankar. It is so satisfying to have such parents and such family. It's just, I just feel blessed.
That's wonderful to know. In fact, each one of us has unique parents, and we don't, in my case, I didn't really appreciate my dad as much when he was alive, except in the last 4 months of his life. And if I have any regret, that's not understanding him and what he stood for almost till the end of his life. I'm so grateful that you're able to do that at this age. You're almost my daughter's age, so it's good to see that, to hear that from you. So, which reminds
Yeah.
me, you're not just doing dance therapy, you do like a cocktail of different things. Can you describe what you do, and you're continuing to do different things during this pandemic? Can you describe what you do and how you do it and what's happening with the people you're working with?
Yeah. Yeah. So, when I had started my journey, so the course I did, it's called Diploma in Dance Movement Therapy. So, of course, I specialized in dance movement therapy. And then I think the first year, I purely did dance movement therapy. But I realized that everyone doesn't resonate with movement. For me, movement might be therapeutic, movement might help me with reflecting and processing, but for everyone, it's different. So, for a lot of people, it's just listening to music. For a lot of people, it's just doing art. For a lot of people, it's just, playing an instrument. So that's when I realized that it's so important to, qualities in it. And whatever the need of the group is, according to that, you take that out from your toolkit and you offer that space for people. So that's why, and that's when I shifted to not only doing using movement, but art, games, sound, um, writing, movement, of course. So it's very need based. I see that, okay, this is what the need is, and let's just do. Like, I've been working with senior citizens, and they really enjoy a lot of movement.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of movement with them. But I was doing this workshop with teenagers, and they wanted to do something around writing. So we did a workshop around writing. A lot of young adults, they want to do something like, around art. And I had this very major barrier with, with this virtual space. I've never been really comfortable with it. And I've always had questions that, okay, why do we need to do this? And this is so uncomfortable and I don't want to do this. But it's interesting, like, I've been holding spaces for a lot of people, and I know that most of the people with whom I've been working, I just feel so fortunate to have this kind of time and space. And the lockdown for me has been really amazing. Like, I've explored so much about the work that I've been doing, so much about my own self. So,
Wow.
Shankar, since the past 1 year, emotionally, it was really difficult for me. Like, I was going through a lot in my life. And I think I've shared this with you, that how after 5 years, I'm at home for such a long duration. Of course, I used to come home every month or so, but it used to be only for 2 or 3 days. But I'm home for such a long time after such, like, after 4 or 5 years. And that really helped me emotionally. Like, I can't tell you, I'm feeling so centered in my life right now. I feel so grounded. It's like how you come back to your roots and
Yeah.
you feel that, there's someone who's holding you. And that has really helped me. So, and that's what my work is all about, where I'm not there teaching anyone anything. I'm just there for them. I'm just holding space for them. And we co-create that space together. It's a co-created space where, okay, we'll just flow with it, and we'll see how the space emerges. Um, and so, yeah, like I shared, so these are different modalities that we use, and it's according to the need of the group. And it's a co-created space. We all co-create it together. Initially, it was very challenging to do things, digitally. But yeah, now I've created a balance, because there are a lot of things which were not possible, doing virtually, because we needed to be like, in physical proximity with each other. But yeah, then I had to tweak a bit and modify and see that, okay, isko aise kar lete hain, isko aise kar lete hain. So yeah, it's been interesting. The journey has been really interesting, and I'm somewhere looking forward to, okay, what more is coming up, because and also something very beautiful that has happened during this time is that my creativity is just out there. And I'm like, okay, why do you want to think so much? Let's just explore. Let's just try this also. Okay, this is what you want to do. Let's do this also. So it's been very interesting that way.
Wow, wow. I have a
Yeah.
confession to make. For the longest time, I was keeping my so-called technology, business, or leadership programs and electronics and biotechnology separate and on LinkedIn from my dance and movement and other practices. In fact, I
Yeah.
started teaching ecstatic Bollywood dancing, in other words, dance healing dances with Bollywood dancers in America in 2009. But I used to hide the videos because I was afraid the image of being a dancer would hurt my being in the technology industry, where I was a CEO at one time, and then I was running companies or I was in executive management. And it was actually one of my dearest friends who worked on happiness, and we were both learning and sharing what it's like, the neuroscience of happiness and what it's. He said, Shankar, how does it help you to keep these lives separate? I said, well, I'm the technology image on LinkedIn. I'm Mr. Shankar Hemmady, and here I'm the Shanks, the dancer. So it's like a dual life. And he said the best day in his life, this is Brian, was when he came out and said, yes, I'm gay, and yes, I'm deeply spiritual. Yes, I'm going to continue to work with the Dalai Lama Foundation. And yes, this is my life, and here's my husband. And I said, let me try it. He said, what do you have to lose? And I tried it. I don't separate them. In fact, I call some of my workshops creative leadership workshops, and they have dance in it. And
Wow.
in the leadership workshop, there's dance. And in the dance workshop, there are principles of personal leadership. What does it
Mm,
mean to be me? Like what you're
yeah.
saying. What does it mean to have an embodied experience? And
Right.
how can I live a life in a way that I don't feel like a victim? You know, the victim
Mm,
mode is so strong, especially among a lot of artists, or like feeling of, oh, I'm a starving artist, or I'm not getting what I want in life. I want to flow through life, but when I'm flowing through life, I'm not getting it. Do you encounter that? What I see in your work is a combination of the flow and the natural flow of life itself. But I also see that to be me, to who am I, what is my purpose in life, that kind of comes together, which is what I call personal leadership. Is that true?
yeah, that's true. So, how I shared with you that, my whole journey was where self care became such an integral part. And
Yeah.
that really comes out in my work. Like, that's, I think, somewhere the core, which I always believed in that, it's so important to take care of yourselves. Like, I see it in my own family, like, especially the women in my family. How it's very natural for them to कि अच्छा सब लोग खाना खा लें फिर हम बाद में खाना खाएंगे या खाना नहीं कम हो जाएगा तो ठीक है हम कम खाना खा लेंगे and they will always do it for others and I'm like why like why can't we do it for ourselves first so if you if you take care of yourselves you can very well easily you can take care of others but if I'm not taking care of myself I really can't hold spaces for anyone else of course I can but then somewhere I feel it's a toxic space because I'm also struggling um and I can't pretend in my spaces. So if I'm feeling dull and low and I'm feeling sad, it will just automatically start reflecting in my space. And I don't want that. I don't want to transfer that sadness, which is mine. And I know that yes, I can take care of myself and I can deal it deal it my own way. So I don't want to transfer it. So yes, that really comes out in my work as well, where it's so personal and like how I shared with you that it's very difficult for me to pretend. Like you said that you had these two spaces for you. I don't know. It's very difficult for me to imagine that. Okay, I'm someone here and I'm someone here.
Yeah, I kept it up for from 2009 to 2016. 2009 to 2013, I had two separate lives. I even had like either different names, or I would use an initial like SHH for my poetry. So poetry was a different identity, and then it got all confusing. And then I'm like, this is me. Take it or leave it, and you can call
Yeah.
me whatever name you like.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, your name, Shubham, it's such a beautiful name, but I'm sure people wonder when they see the first, oh, you're Shubham? I was
Yeah.
expecting a man. Do you go through that?
Oh my goodness.
And how has
I
it
have
shaped your life?
I have so many stories I can't tell you. So, you know, when I was small, my parents never knew that it's a boy's name. And I came back from school and I told them that, okay, मेरा लड़कों वाला नाम क्यों रख दिया है मतलब, you know, and my parents are like, नहीं ये लड़कों वाला नाम नहीं है, ये दोनों का नाम हो सकता है. I'm like, नहीं ये लड़कों का नाम है, सब मुझे चिढ़ा रहे थे स्कूल में. So my parents, that's when they got to know that, okay, it's a boy's name. But they were all chill about it. They were like, it's okay, like, you know, relax, कुछ नहीं होगा, तुम्हारा नाम है. And of course, there are a lot of episodes. Like, imagine I'm giving my 10th boards, and there's this, like, you know, we get that ticket, like admit card, and your
Yeah.
photo is there. Your photo is there. Your name is written. The invigilator comes, he's checking, and he looks at the admit card, and he looks at me, and he's like, "Aap Shubham ho?" And I'm like, dude, there's a picture of me, and I'm sitting right in front of you, and still you're asking that Aap Shubham ho? So, you know, it used to really annoy me sometimes. And, you know, also something happened when one final day I was like, okay, I chose a name for myself, and I was like, I'll just go back home and I'm going to tell my parents that I don't want this name, and this is my chosen name, and this is what I want to keep. And my parents said something very beautiful that, you know, because you have not accepted your name, you are feeling this way. The moment you will accept your name, things will just shift for you, and you will not really be bothered with what people are saying. And Shankar, that really shifted something within me. Because the moment I accepted, you know, I was having this constant fight with my own self. And that's when I realized that I don't have to do that. Like, I just need to be okay with the fact that, okay, this is my name, and you want to associate with me, you don't want to associate with me, it's not my problem. But the day I accepted this name for myself, I was at peace, and things around me started, like, you know, everything was then all nice and calm and beautiful. So that, and of course, but yeah, there's been a lot of struggle. I also, so, you know, in my family, all my, like, you know, uncles and aunties, they all have 2 or 3 kids, and everyone has a boy. I'm the only person who's, like, you know, my parents just decided that, okay, we want a girl, and if अगर लड़की नहीं हुई तो हम एक और बच्चा करेंगे, और अगर लड़की हो गई then we don't want another child. So the day I was born, they had decided in their heads that, okay, we are not going to do, like, you know, we're just happy, like, you know, we have a girl in our life, and they were really happy. But my dadi, my grandmother, she used to always keep telling them that, you know, एक और कर लो, लड़का हो जाएगा. And of course, she always wanted a boy, but at the same time, she never looked down upon me that, okay, and she always treated me very nicely. She used to stay with us. But I don't know, somewhere I feel that I still remember, so there's a ritual which we all have in our family, like me and my parents, that every birthday, anniversaries, we write to each other, like we write letters. And I remember for the longest time, I used to write in the letter down that तुम्हारा लड़का और तुम्हारी लड़की, Shubham, and my parents call me Shubhi at home. So Shubham and Shubhi. So somewhere I think that really played something in my head. That, okay, and I also started feeling that, okay, because Shubham is a boy's name, and I was a tomboy for the longest time in my life. So I thought that, okay, my name has a very big influence in my life, and, like, you know, that's why I feel, you know, I'm a boy and I'm a girl as well. So there was this constant fight within me. And I think that, so yes, this aspect is also, like, you know, because of my name, which I used to always feel that, okay, it's because of my name that I feel that I'm a boy. Uh, so yeah, but it's been like, Shankar, you know, I've had so many experiences in my life, and I've experienced everything in my life, in like more or less everything. Of course, I'm yet to experience a lot more, but, like, you know, I've experienced good, bad, ugly, beautiful, struggles, challenges. Uh, but I feel grateful for all those experiences, because all those experiences and memories have made me who I am today. And I am in love with myself today. I
Wow.
I am like, oh my goodness, you know, I've turned out to be such a beautiful human. I don't want to be sound narcissistic, but yes, I am in love with myself.
Wow, that's very few people can say that in an open forum, and I mean, it's an amazing thing to be able to say that. It took me years to get to that point to say I'm happy with who I am, and I'm in love with myself. Because most of the time there's that looking outside, for validation. So one of my questions is, as you grew to this point where you actually started feeling happy with you are, the way you are, the not even what you do, but who you are. You know what I mean? The clarity of the identity. Have you been able to support others in that journey, in understanding their identity or the conflict people have in their identity and so on?
So yeah, of course, but like, I've held spaces for so many people, and I've really seen a lot of people entering the space in a different energy and moving out of the space in an absolutely different energy and vibe. And so another thing about the work that I'm doing is that, it's very empowering, because I will hold the space for you, but you will find your own questions and you will find your own answers. I'm not going to tell you anything, or I'm not guiding you, okay, this is what you have to do, or this is how you have to do. So you're asking your own questions, you're answering your own, questions. So that has really helped a lot of people, where, you know, they have awareness now. They they've become mindful. And the most important and beautiful part is that they've started listening to their bodies. Shankar,
Wow.
my experience has been with my own body, where, of course, I had no relationship with my body for the longest time. But the moment I started building that relationship with my body really communicates to me. And and I know this for a fact, that everyone's body communicates to them. It's just that you have to sit and listen to it and really do what your body needs. So the kind of work, the kind of space that I am co-creating is all about this, where we are just sitting and listening to what our body is saying, what our heart is saying, and really catering to its need. And it's all about me. And a lot of people have come up to me and they're like, I don't want to be selfish, but I also somewhere feel that this has been passed on from generations and generations, that okay, if you think about yourself, you're selfish, but you're not. It's so important to think about yourself. It's so important to take care of yourself. and 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 I've seen this transformation in a lot of children, men, women, senior citizens, children with autism and Down syndrome. Like, I want to share an experience here, where I was working with children with Down syndrome, and there was this one child there. Like, he was not a child, he was an adult. And imagine, like, he had very limited speech, and you know uh, they have very limited movement also.
Yeah.
So like, and we had this, I think, 10 days of, like, regular sessions. So the first 4 or 5 sessions, the person who was responsible, the teacher, she had to really, like, push him and be like, let's go for the session. And he would come and he would really participate, and uh, and he started involving himself. So the 6th day, I remember, he entered this space, and I'm like, how are you? And he was replying in monosyllables, but he said, acha. तो मैंने बोला, खाना खाया? He said, हाँ. मैंने बोला, अभी हम movement करेंगे? He said, हाँ. And after that, I got really excited, because he used to never speak in class. I got really excited, and I went inside and I called the teacher. The moment I called the teacher, I started asking the same questions again, and he didn't respond. He
Wow.
was absolutely quiet. And that's when I realized after a week more that the teacher used to really she was very abusive, and she used to attack him, and that's why he felt unsafe there. And because he felt safe with the space that we had co-created, he was just he started sharing. And I remember that after that, Shankar, he started pulling other children and be like, okay, let's go, it's time. So I've really seen these stories of change where people have opened up, people have taken, they've started taking charge of themselves. I remember I was working with incarcerated women in Vanwadi, and it was a week-long process where day in and day out, we were, doing these, movement processes, art processes. And I remember in the beginning, they were all so, they had given up in life that, okay, we don't want to live. And they were in a really different space. But after a week, most of them were that, okay, now we have to take charge, and we, we don't care about what the world is saying. We will take charge and we will make our lives. So, this is so gratifying, Shankar, to see people really shift and taking charge of their own lives and of their own emotions, of their own bodies, that okay, this is what my body is saying. Also,
So we were talking about how in your work people are able to bring their identities back, how they're able to separate or understand who they are versus what they do. Can you tell us how this works in your dance work or any of the other work you do?
yeah, so I think before this, how I was also sharing about my own journey, and like how I was sharing before also, that whatever I am, and I am like that everywhere. And that totally reflects in the work that I do. So, I've seen um, you know, so many stories of change. And I have been a part of it, I've witnessed it. And that just makes me feel so grateful and blessed to have witnessed these journeys. And how I think I've shared this with you, that how the whole space is co-created in such a way that it's very empowering, because I am just holding space for everyone, but whoever is there in the space, they ask their own questions and they answer their own questions. So
Wow.
I'm going to tell you that, okay, this is what you did, and okay, this is what in the art came out. Okay, now let's just sit and process. No, sorry, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just there for you, holding the space, um, and co-creating. We all are co-creating the space, and the process is designed in such a way that one just feels empowered, and they do it for their own selves. And Shankar, this is what my experience has been, that how I am here today and I'm supporting you, I'm holding the space for you. Maybe I will answer all your questions today, but tomorrow the case might be different and I'm not there. Then I don't want you to feel helpless and lost, and I don't want you to go back to where you were. So that's why the process is designed in such a way that you are empowered and you feel empowered, and you're like, okay, I have to take charge of my life and I can do this for myself. So a lot of awareness starts coming in, a lot of work with yourself starts coming in, where we start listening to our bodies. It's very interesting, Shankar, that how I also had this experience where I never had a relationship with my body. But since the time I have started having this relationship with my body, my life really has changed. And that's where my work is doing something very similar, where how one can really feel connected with their bodies. It's very interesting, Shankar, that how people want to understand others, people want to help others, but they don't want to understand their own selves, and they don't want to help themselves.
True.
And I don't want to generalize it, but this is what my experience has been. with whomsoever I have worked, a lot of people in my own life, my friends, so many people in my own family are like this, where they don't want to, they're just constantly running away from their own selves. So the whole space is co-created in such a way where this is what we're doing, that okay, this is you and you want to run, but no, let's just face it, let's just come, let's just, like, let's just hold each other, let's just embrace your own self, love your own self, and let's just create space for each and every emotion that we are going through. So I have also done this in my life, where I have always wanted to be because I am like that, where I'm constantly bubbly and chirpy, and people look at me in a certain way that okay, this is how Shubham is. But if I'm feeling sad, I will be like, oh, I'm going out, let's just start pretending that I'm not sad, I'm absolutely happy. But the moment I realize that I am having this conflict within my own self, I'm not embracing my sadness, I'm not embracing my anger, I'm not embracing all these emotions which you know which for people, like, they don't define me. So the moment I started embracing all these emotions, life just became so simple for me. That okay, I'm feeling sad today, I want to sit and cry today, I want to feel angry, and I don't want to stop my anger. I wanted to come out. I wanted to just, like, be there, that okay, today I'm angry and I want to be there. I don't want to hide it, that okay, anger is here, let's just go. You just go away, just run away, because I don't want you in my life. No, I want you in my life. And this is how the whole space is co-created, where we are welcoming each and every emotion, each and every part of you. And this is what people take away, Shankar, where they're like, okay, the anger, the sadness, the happiness, the beauty, the ugly, everything is me. And I'm made up of all of this. And I have to accept myself. And that's what has empowered me. So, this, and I have a lot of case studies that way. Like, I think I was sharing with you that how I was working with these prisoners, and like they were not in the jail, but they'd come to Banwadi, and we were doing, like, a month-long process with them, where 1 week I was working with them. Like, it was a really deep process, where day in and day out we were doing art or movement or writing. And I saw those women where they had entered in such a different space, and they were all really in a space where okay, I don't want to live anymore, and I don't know what to do in my life, and why am I here? Why am I even existing? But after a week, they wanted to exist loudly. They were like, okay, we want to exist, and we want the world to know that yes, we are here, and we want to take charge of our own lives. And that was so beautiful for me to see this whole, progression of not wanting to live, from being like, okay, just bring it on, and I'm here. So it's it's very I can't even put it into words, Shankar, how I feel.
Yeah, I hear
It's a
you. I
really
hear you.
different feeling.
And for those people who are with us, who are listening, who have never experienced dance therapy, it sounds weird that embracing not only the good side, everybody wants to be happy, healthy, strong, especially in times like this when we're in the
Yeah.
pandemic. We all want to say, oh, everybody's fine, all tests are negative, we're all doing good. But the reality
Yeah.
is a little different. And it's not, at all times where everybody in our class is a smart person, everybody has succeeded. It's not realistic. It's not even meaningful. I remember when I was a teacher at the Chinmaya Mission many years ago, one mother came and said, my son is such a good pious kid and I've been praying every day. Why doesn't my child come first in the class? I mean, what am I
Mm,
doing wrong in my prayer? And I'm like, do you know that all these other mothers, they're also praying that their child would come first in the class. But then why isn't Krishna listening to me? Is it Krishna or whoever, Ganesha is listening to all of you? And they
yeah.
come where they come. No, it's not right. My prayer is the best. So the ego perks up And what you're saying is so true, but it's interesting. You mentioned that even during the pandemic, the methods don't change. It's just that you're doing it online, from what I can see.
Yeah.
But if people are not used to this, the idea that you have to embrace it all, number one. And number two, the idea that you're not going to help them. They have to, the community will help them, but they have to stand up for themselves, ask the right questions. It's much more common, whether you're learning dance or you're going through therapy, to let the other person give all the answers. Like the guru will tell you what to do. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with this culture that we have, that we will get the answers from outside rather than let it spring up from within?
Hmm. So, the first thing that I do whenever I start a session is, number one, creating that safe space, that okay, this is a safe space and you can just be the way you want to, you can share whatever you want to. And I don't really say all of this. Like, there are of course a few activities and a few games, and we do it through all of that. The second thing which I say it out loud is that I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm not a teacher, I'm not a guru, I'm not like, a mentor or a coach. I am just here to share my experiences and my gifts with you. And if and that's why I think I've constantly shared this with you, that it's a co-created space.
Yeah.
So the onus is on each and every person who's a part of the circle, who's a part of this whole space. So it's not only me, but you also, and you also, and you also, and you also. So, you know, I very strongly feel that all, like how we say that, that the base needs to be really strong. And that's what I do in my sessions, where the base needs to be strong. We need to really set it out there that, okay, this is a safe space. There's no judgment. There's like, we are respecting our own selves, and we are respecting, of course, others as well. And we are not here to teach anything. And like, I'm also not here to teach anything, or you're also not here to teach anything, but we are doing it together. And we are only sharing our experiences. We are only sharing what we have. And that somehow it has worked for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, just setting it right in the beginning, that really helps with the work that I'm doing.
Wow.
And like, because I do it in the beginning, so people automatically, they know that, okay, this is our space also. This is not only her space, but this is our space. This is my space. This is your space. This is our space. So everyone feels responsible. Everyone takes, charge that, okay, we all have to do it together.
That's so wonderful. In fact, that is the true spirit of any kind of art-based healing therapy, where the dance, for example, I used to go to a place called Dance Church in Santa Cruz, California, where they would say that the dancer is the priest. We are in church, but the dancer is the priest, and the dance itself is where the healing happens. It's like the dance is
Yeah.
we're not here. I'm not here to tell you what to do. You're not here to tell me what to do. But each one takes part. It's like in a play. It's like in the real world, and we are here to share. In
Right.
Gujarat, they say, "Sathe jamiye, sathe kariye sara kaam." So we sit together, we kick together, we eat together, and we play together. And in
Yeah.
that co-creation, co-creation में जो recreation or the recreation हो जाता है literally. It's
Bilkul,
amazing,
bilkul.
and I'm so glad we talked about all these things. Has anything changed for you in terms of your work or style during the pandemic, except for going online? How do you maintain that closeness which is necessary? Many times it's nice to be in the same room. How are you able to, have you been able to do any exercises or anything so that people don't miss out on that experience?
Yeah, of course. Like, I've had to tweak a lot of activities. There are a few activities we can't do it online, because that requires some sort of touch, or holding hands, or some kind of proximity. But yeah, like, something which I always do in my sessions is, so if a lot of people, on Zoom, I think you can, at a time, you can see 25 people.
Yeah.
Uh, if you're on the gallery view. So something which has worked beautifully, Shankar, is that if you just open your hands, like right now, of course, we are really close, but if you're a
Yeah.
little far, if you just open your hands like this. So see, we feel connected.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you'll see that everyone who's watching on the screen, they see that, okay, we are connected. Wow. Then we put our hands up and you're connected with the person who is up. And then, of
Wow.
course, you do this and you try and connect with whoever is right in front of you. So, Shankar, this has worked so beautifully, I can't tell you, because people just suddenly they feel, oh yeah, we are together. We're not alone. And of course, we physically can't touch and hold hands, but yes, we are together. We like, and sometimes visuals really help. And if people are visually seeing it, it really makes a difference.
Yes. Yes. In
So
fact, we've
that
tried virtual hugs too. It's like you come and give each other a hug, and then you feel like we are together, and it's like holding each other. Yeah, and the reason is that touch is a big part of one of the forms of intelligence, where being the affirmations, the physical connection, the vicinity, being together is so important. And unfortunately, we are at a time where touch is almost prohibited. With the distance
yeah,
and all that. At least we don't have to wear a mask when we are on Zoom.
yeah.
So do
But
you have anything else to share with the people who are out here, especially your generation? Because I see that teenagers, young adults struggle with these identity challenges. One thing, obviously, I would say is participate in creative arts and creative art-based therapy, because it works like magic. I was a total geek. I was an engineer until 2003, and now you see me singing and dancing and all that stuff. I'd never done that in public, and as I said, I would not even share it online until 2010. So huge
yeah.
differences, and I highly encourage people to do that. But
Mm.
besides that, do you have is there anything left for you to share so people understand why you do it and who you really are? Is there anything
Mm.
left to share?
So there's, I just feel that I hope we had just a lot of time in hand and we could go on and on and on, because I'm just loving this conversation so much. And of course, it's been lovely having, just organically flow with you. And I love you for that, for co-creating this beautiful
This space.
space. Uh, but I just want to, reiterate one more time that please listen to your bodies. Your body communicates so much, and I've experienced this in my life, where just like literally, I'm not kidding you. I sit with my own self, and I'm literally talking to my body. If so, for example, if I've got hurt, I'll just talk to it. I'll caress it. I'll give it a lot of love, and I'll be like, okay, what happened? It's like a child that, okay, I don't, we don't really question a child that, okay, why are you crying? And the first impulse, at least my reaction, is that, okay, a child is crying, I'll just be like, okay, come baby, like, I'm here. And what happened? And that's what I do with my own body, where I'm like, okay, whatever it is, you come first, and I'm here, just caressing it, just giving it a lot of love, just holding it, and having a conversation with it.
Wow.
And I feel everything else just starts falling into place. But it is so important to build that relationship with your own self, with your own body, with your own heart. um, that that really has shifted so much within me. It has really changed my life. And I don't know, I can vouch for it that it definitely will change your life as well. So yes, taking care of your body, listening to your body, just being there is so important. And of course, one, like, I'm sure you know this about me, like I love giving hugs and receiving hugs. So I just want to send a big, warm, tight hug to each and every one of you. And you all can hug yourselves. And when I meet you in person, I really will give you a hug. And lots and lots and lots of love.
Wow, wow. In fact, I feel like we should stop here, but I have something to say. There's a lot of science behind everything Shubham is saying. She simplified it where any and everybody will understand. When we don't accept our own bodily sensation, we are denying a visceral sensation. Our consciousness is just here in the head. But and yes, eyes, ears, nose, tongue are all here. That's true. But you have the entire body, which is fully alive, all the way to the tippy toes. And if we don't respect that, which a lot of people like engineers, even doctors, people are professionals, accountants, office workers, we don't even understand that we are not going beyond this, all the way down to our toes. So that's number one. The other thing is that um, touch is a very powerful way of communicating. We're so used to words, we're so used to written words, especially email and text nowadays, but even just
Yeah.
talking. But non-verbal communication, being able to listen to our own body, to be able to see the other and to feel their energy without them saying one word. Every mother does that with a child, newborn baby. The child has no
Absolutely.
language at that time. So to be able to
Yeah.
do that is amazing. And I'm grateful, Shubham, for simplifying it, putting it in the language that we use every day without all the jargon of proprioception and all that stuff. So I won't go there anymore. But it's so amazing that you're able to convey it with a few gestures, few words. And to anybody out there, anybody interested, we will share our contact information on how you can get in touch with Shubham directly and also me. And there's a lot of similarity in our work, different styles, but it's amazing. I'm so grateful, Shubham, you came and shared here. And may you continue to share and may you continue to be Shubham. And to everybody out there, may you continue to have a wonderful day. May you continue to have a wonderful rest of the pandemic and find your true self, no matter how difficult things may be, no matter how challenging things may be.
Thank you so much.